In the quietude of Ardmore, Pennsylvania, where suburban tranquility met sinister secrets, a chilling mystery began to unfold. A mother and her 2 children vanished without a trace, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions. It all started innocently enough in the summer of 1979. Susan Reinert, a dedicated teacher and a loving mother, embarked on a seemingly ordinary Friday evening road trip with her 2 children, Karen and Michael. Little did anyone know that this would be their last journey together. By the morning of Monday, June 25th, Susan's lifeless and unclothed body was discovered near Harrisburg, her murder shrouded in a chilling mystery. The horrifying twist: Karen and Michael were missing. As investigators retraced Susan's steps, a haunting puzzle emerged. Susan's car, abandoned at a motel parking lot, served as a silent witness. Desperation gripped the community as law enforcement widened their search, hoping for a clue, a lead, anything that could unveil the truth. But the case only grew murkier. It all began with a phone call, its anonymous whisper triggering a chain of events that would grip the town in fear and fascination. The voice on the other end had discovered Susan Reinert's lifeless body in the trunk of her Plymouth Horizon, parked oddly at the Host Inn just outside Harrisburg. But fate had a cruel twist. The tape capturing this cryptic call was accidentally wiped clean, erasing the one link to the mysterious informant. As dawn broke, police reached the scene with a number of questions. Why was the vehicle parked over 100 miles away from their intended destination? The motel staff confirmed that the family had never checked in, deepening the mystery. Inside the car, Susan's personal belongings were replaced by strange items. Among them, a bizarre object. A rubber phallus was discovered. It was perhaps deliberately placed to mislead the investigators. Despite their thorough search, concrete links to potential suspects remained elusive, leaving them baffled and frustrated. The investigation expanded, with every possible lead explored. Everyone who might have seen Susan's car or her family was questioned. Even those closest to Susan, like her boyfriend, Bill Bradfield, and her ex-husband, Kenneth Reinert, couldn't provide any answers. Days turned into weeks, and the town was consumed by a sense of unease. On July 20th, 1979, a lawyer from Philadelphia, acting on behalf of Susan's ex-husband, Kenneth Reinert, and her brother Patrick Gallagher, filed a caveat in both Montgomery and Delaware counties. This legal move effectively paused the processing of any will Susan might have left behind in either county. In the next week, a startling revelation came to light. It emerged that just weeks before her tragic demise, Susan had made significant changes to her will. What sent shockwaves through the investigation was not just the changes in her will, but also the acquisition of substantial life insurance policies. Even more interesting was the revelation of the designated beneficiary, her boyfriend at the time, Bill Bradfield, whom Susan had boldly declared as her future husband in her legal documents. With these revelations, the spotlight shifted intensely onto 2 individuals whose lives had become entwined in a web of secrets and suspicion. The investigators, armed with this newfound knowledge, delved deeper into the lives of these key suspects, hoping to unearth the truth behind the financial motivations that might have led to Susan Reinert's tragic fate. William Sidney Bradfield, widely known as Bill, was a charismatic 46-year-old English teacher at Upper Merion High School, where he had established himself as a respected figure since 1963. As the chair of the English department, he frequently crossed paths with Susan Reinert, his colleague and romantic interest. His close association with Jay Smith, the former principal of Upper Merion High School for 12 years, further solidified his influence in the school's corridors. Bill and Susan's professional relationship blossomed into a romantic bond that predated Susan's separation from her ex-husband back in 1974. Their connection grew, and by 1979, they had been dating for over 4 years. Susan envisioning a future with Bill, had earnestly discussed marriage, expressing her intentions to tie the knot later that summer and move to England. In pursuit of this dream, she had even initiated job inquiries at English schools. However, what Susan didn't know was that she was just one of several women in Bill's life. In the weeks leading to her tragic murder, Susan had made significant financial changes, making Bill the beneficiary of a $500,000 life insurance policy from USAA and an additional $160,000 policy from another New York-based bank. She had also amended her will, leaving all her assets, including the substantial life insurance proceeds, her personal wealth, and the inheritance from her mother, to Bill. This sudden change, just weeks before her death on May 4th, raised suspicion, particularly given Bill's newfound role as the executor of her estate, worth over $1 million. However, Bill appeared to have an airtight alibi. He was in Cape May throughout the weekend of Susan's murder, corroborated by fellow teachers Vincent Velatus and Susan Myers, both residing in the same apartment complex. Susan Myers was in a romantic relationship with Bill and lived with him, a fact that had been kept secret until now. Despite their rocky relationship, both Susan Myers and Susan Reinert had been in competition, viewing each other as romantic rivals. The teachers claimed to have been with Bill in Cape May from Saturday morning, hours after Susan and her children went missing, until Monday afternoon when they returned to the Philadelphia area. Bill's alibi shielded him from suspicion initially. However, it wasn't until investigators unearthed Susan's altered will, the insurance policies, and the financial motive behind her murder that Bill Bradfield came under renewed scrutiny. By then, he had already left for Santa Fe, where he had enrolled in summer classes at St. John's College. He departed on a flight the very day Susan's lifeless body was discovered. The focus of the investigation shifted, once again, toward the enigmatic teacher. J.C. Smith, the former principal of Upper Marion High School, became a key suspect in Susan Reinert's murder due to his connections with both Susan and her boyfriend, Bill Bradfield. Smith's background was shadowed by legal troubles. In 1978, he faced arrest for wearing a hood, carrying loaded pistols, and possessing drugs and illegal firearms. His home search revealed an assortment of illegal items, including drugs and bizarre reading material related to bestiality. During his trial, Bill testified for Smith, but failed to convince the jury of his innocence. Smith was convicted and sentenced to 2 to 5 years. Interestingly, Smith surrendered to authorities in Harrisburg on June 25, 1979, coincided with the discovery of Susan's body nearby. This coincidence sparked speculation that Bradfield might have involved Smith in the murder plot. Bradfield's airtight alibi, established over 100 miles away, further fueled suspicions. The theory gained traction due to Smith's unknown whereabouts during the murder weekend, his proximity to Susan's body's discovery, and his relationship with Bradfield. However, physical evidence linking Smith directly to the crime was lacking. The discovery of a blue comb in Susan's car, bearing the insignia of the 79th Army Reserve Command, where Smith had served, seemed more coincidental than substantial evidence. Despite these connections, investigators struggled to build a concrete case against Smith from his prison cell in the Dallas State Correctional Institution. In August 1979, the investigation into Susan Reinert's murder and the disappearance of her children gained momentum when Pennsylvania state troopers took the help of the FBI. The disappearance of Susan's children elevated the case to a federal level, leading to a joint effort by state troopers, local officials, and over a dozen FBI agents. However, their focus soon blurred due to the sensational media reports, particularly those suggesting occult involvement in Susan's murder. Despite media speculations about Susan's alleged connections to a satanic cult, investigators dismissed these claims as baseless. In September 1979, investigators scoured the apartment complex where Bill Bradfield, Susan's boyfriend, lived with his alibi witnesses. An anonymous caller had suggested the children's bodies were buried in the nearby woods, but the search proved futile. Meanwhile, investigators delved into Susan's finances, uncovering a disturbing fraud perpetrated by Bradfield. He had deceived Susan into investing in fake stocks and bonds, indicating a prolonged period of financial manipulation. As the 1970s drew to a close, Bradfield faced a civil lawsuit filed by Susan's family, accusing him of mishandling her funds. In court, he remained evasive, refusing to answer questions about the missing money. The unresolved financial mystery overshadowed the investigation, while a new lead emerged in May 1980. Investigators reportedly linked fibers found on Susan's body to the carpet in Jay Smith's home, reigniting public interest and breathing new life into a case that had stagnated. In the end, justice prevailed. Bill Bradfield and Jay Smith were convicted for their roles in the heinous Reinert family murders. Despite the challenges faced by law enforcement, the prosecution successfully built a case against Bradfield, highlighting his financial motives and the suspicious circumstances surrounding Susan Reinert's life insurance. Jay Smith, initially implicated, was later released due to prosecutorial misconduct, which cast a shadow over his involvement. The convictions brought a semblance of closure to a case that had haunted the community for years. The legal system, with all its complexities, managed to unravel the intricacies of the crime and hold the perpetrators accountable for their actions. However, the whereabouts of Susan's two young children, Karen and Michael Reinert, remained a heart-wrenching mystery. Although declared dead, their bodies were never found, leaving a void in the hearts of their loved ones.